someone who is doing a lot of mainstream film, it seems a lot. I mean, I see you on a lot of these news shows weighing in all the damn time. Um, I don't know, what else should we say about you?
I think I'm curious, Carol, because over the years that the people who watch this show and myself included have known you, would you say that what you do has changed a little bit or a lot of it?
Well, my intention has never changed, but of course you have to crawl and then you have to walk and then you have to run. So I was very clear up front about where I wanted to go to. However, there were a number of steps in the process. So I think what people are seeing is the evolution, and perhaps because they weren't in on the secret, that they're saying, wow, that's so unexpected, where from my standpoint, it was completely intentional. So this is definitely part of the plan, the grand master plan for world domination, if you would like to call it that. But it hasn't evolved recently. It certainly evolved from 10 or 15 years ago, what I was doing. But when I sort of came onto the online space, there was a very strong focus and intention. And even though there have been some adaptations along the way, this has been part of the trajectory.
Do you want to, or will you speak a little bit to Chris's idea of throwing away the maps and what we were talking about in the beginning of the show? Have you found yourself in that position in your business?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that a lot of the people that I work with have found themselves in that position as well. I always call it, you can't drive the car forward looking in the rear view mirror. And I had a board call the other day where I was on the advisory board of a company that was kind of a typical Carol Roth tough love call, except that I had a bunch of other board members that were also beating up on this company in a very healthy way, challenging their goals, challenging what they were doing, really getting them to focus, which we'll be talking about later. And, the CEO, who was really appreciative, he said, why did I not think about this before? Why did we not have this conversation a year ago? And my direct response was, it doesn't matter. We're having the conversation now, and that's all you need to know. Now you have what it needs to take to move forward. You may not have been ready to have that conversation a year ago. It may not have occurred to you. You may not have acted on it, or maybe you're just screwing around. It doesn't matter. What matters is now, and that you have the ability to change the course of where you're going. And I find that with my own situation. I mean, I have completely reinvented what I am doing, from investment banker to now media pundit, where there isn't really a direct course of action, right? There isn't you go to school, you get good grades, you get into Wharton, you go into investment banking, you move along. So some of this is, even though there is a focus and there is here's where I want to go, there's a lot of course correction along the way. And I think that's what Chris was talking about in throwing away the maps. Yes, you have to know where it is that you're trying to get to, or you can't come up with a path, but you might find roadblocks along the way. And that means that you have to decide, do I climb over it? Do I go to the left? Do I go to the right? Do I cut a hole in the middle of it? Or maybe you try all of those things. And I think that's where you really have to kind of dig deep and just keep pushing and pushing until you find a way around that roadblock.